right, man. Heading into week 5, Kennesaw State week. Blue Raiders come off a tough loss to Marshall, but what we do is, man, we get back to work and just had a chance to meet with our guys this morning in our culture groups and just talking about what's in front of us, man, because that's what we have, man. We got a sample size of work, man, behind us, man, that says, man, that this team's got ability to do some things offensively, defensively, and special teams, but now's the time to put it together as we get into conference play. Excited to get into conference play. We know Kennesaw State, coming off their second victory in a row, led by Jerry Mack. Great coach. Been around Jerry a long time. Man, we're good friends. Man, we've known each other for a long time. Familiar with this staff, and the staff's going to be familiar with us a little bit, with Mark Mattioli being defensive coordinator. We were together at Stanford and at Vanderbilt. So a lot of connections with this group, but it's about players. And they've done a good job when you look at their group of being able to figure out who they are, what they can do. They've been opportunistic over the last 2 weeks. Man, you've seen the balance of run to pass offensively start to show up. Odom, their quarterback, is playing extremely well right now in terms of what he can do. He's running the ball. Their backs are running the ball. Man, they're doing a great job getting it on the perimeter. They cause you problems when they open it up, man, because they've got good speed and they can be explosive, and they use tempo in order to sort of get you off the spot. Defensively, and they play, bracket on third down. You're going to see matchups all across the field. They run to the ball. A hallmark of a Mark Mattioli coach defense is going to be, effort and tackling, because that's what they do. They do a pretty good job of getting hats to the ball. They're going to populate to the ball. And this is going to be a ball game where offense, defense, and special teams are going to have to match wit with wit, physicality with physicality, and we're going to find ourselves having to play a four-quarter game at Kennesaw. I keep saying that because we still haven't played one. So here we go.
Coach, you all have faced plenty of dual threat quarterbacks the past 4 weeks, and with Amari Odom, he's another one. But what have you learned the past couple of weeks in order for you all to prepare to contain him in the pocket?
Man, it's about our edges. It's always been about our edges. I think the interiors played well. People are going to attack our edges until we shut them down. So, the reality is this team does it in different ways with their screen game. They'll do a great job of getting you in open sets, and then you're going to see QB draw. You're going to see counter. You're going to see zone read, right? That's what Kennesaw is going to do. It's all over the tape. And here's the thing: we saw those things at times. Man, we play well against those things, and at times, man, it gets loose. Bottom line is, it's going to be us having to play our best ball and be on the P's and Q's for this quarterback, because this quarterback can hurt you.
Kennesaw State's offense presents some challenges, especially with its wide receiver room. Mm-hmm. How do you go about defending so many dynamic guys like that?
Yeah, you look across, their room, and, you look across at Bernard, Moss, Rivalry. These guys can go, but we got receivers that can go too. So our guys just got to defend our guys in practice. Okay, this is one of those weeks where, man, you spend a lot of time going against your own guys, good on good. Okay, man, and just making sure, man, that you try to sort of tighten up your technique, fight these matchups, because the matchups are going to be what the matchups are. The big thing about their group is that their group has done a really good job within the system of being able to, they're sort of a run and shoot wide open for a vert team. Jerry Mack was at Tennessee with Heupel, so you get a lot of that in their offense, right? So they're going to create some one-on-ones. So we're going to have to win our one-on-ones, and we've had some struggles, but at the end of the day, that's the life of a DB. I mean, you got to go out there, you got to line up, and you got to win your one-on-one.
After having some time to reflect on the game Saturday and watch some film, what are some things you want to improve on going into Kennesaw State?
Just us not beating us. I'm just going to keep it that simple. It wasn't really anything that Marshall did to us. I mean, we had opportunities. I mean, we make key mistakes. Okay, man, we don't tackle well. Okay, and we don't stay on the field. So that's us beating us. That's not Marshall beating us. So those things we've had really good times or really good moments. And we've had moments that we like to have back. When you don't get them back, you just got to learn from them. So for us, in moving forward, I still think it's about playing one quarter at a time and making sure that there's no lull, there's no letdown. We have to stay on the attack, and if we stay on the attack, we'll be fine.
Coach, a bit of a first for you guys this week with the Conference USA availability report for the first time. What is kind of the day-to-day of that kind of look like, getting that filled out, and what are your overall thoughts on that addition to Conference USA?
Yeah, I think it's about, fairness and wanting to understand, roster limitations, who's available to you and who's not, who's playing. I mean, I get it. I think some of it is about just fair play, and, others may be about the lines. Like in betting, right? I mean, let's make no secret about, like what it comes down to. I mean, betting is a part of college sports and college athletics. And with that being said, lines get put out midweek, and you'll start to see what that looks like.
And Chip wanted me to ask how honest the staff is going to be when.
Hey, look. I think for the most part, it doesn't help you to be dishonest in that deal. I mean, at the end of the day, people pretty much know what your day-to-day status, looks like, and if they don't see them on tape, they really don't. They really don't suspect unless you say that, a guy's going to be a game-time decision. They won't know until you get out there. So, you sort of prepare, look, see if they show up, they play. If they don't, then you don't worry about it.
You mentioned on Saturday that the connection and chemistry with Nick and his receivers are getting better.
Yeah.
How far are you guys away from having the reach potential that you see with that offense?
You know what? I mean, I think we're a weekend away. I think we're a weekend away. I mean, you want it to happen this weekend, right? We're going to be presented with challenges, but in order to meet challenges, man, you got to challenge yourself. That's one thing I like about Nick. Okay, I mean, one of the many things I like about Nick. I mean, the dude competes every day in practice. Okay, man, I don't care if it's a bad play, good play, man. He keeps coming back, and here's what I'm saying. I'm starting to see him get better and better each week. So as he gets better, he's going to make everybody else around him better because that's what he demands, right? So, we're finding our way through this. Had 28. How many more points can we add to that this week? Okay. Had some opportunity, had possessions to add more points to it. So wherever there's opportunity, wherever there's possessions, man, we want to score.
You had your culture group meetings today.
Yeah.
Talk about when did you add that, and when did you feel a need for that in your coaching career, and how's that worked out?
First saw it when I was at Auburn. But I don't think we manifested it very well. I think it was something that we started with, and we met maybe 3 or 4 times during the season. Introduced it last year, and I think it went for maybe every other week. I mean, we're in it every week now, and here's what it does for our team. It gives us a chance to reset. It gives us a chance to, get back to the fight. It gives us a chance to talk to us about our voices, okay, and about our team and about our expectations. And I think that's important in a day and age where there's just so much information out there and so many people talking. Okay, what are we saying to each other about each other? Because you'd rather talk about it in the privacy of a room and be able to make sure that when you walk out of that room, man, we're the brotherhood that we need to be, because that's what it takes to be able to, find success. Success and mediocrity don't walk in the same place. So for us, we're constantly trying to flush, okay, and constantly trying to add to. And I think that's what this group's done a good job of, and that's why I'm excited for us to play our best ball. I think the culture around here is exactly what it needs to be. The mentality and the mindset is what's growing.
Couple things about Kennesaw. How much different do they look under Jerry Mack this year than what they had looked under Coach Bohannon?
A lot different. I mean, again, Jerry's been around it for a minute, whether you talk about the NFL, whether you talk about Tennessee, and being under the influence of Heupel. He was with Bloomgren at Rice, as an offensive coordinator. Calling plays. Jerry's been doing this for a minute. And so when you look at the offense, it's got that DNA on it, right? And when you look at the defense, it's got Mark's DNA. It's going to be fast and physical, and they're going to run to the ball, right? They get hatched to the ball, and they're playing hard on special teams. So I think he started, building his culture and moving it towards the direction he wants it to go. Atlanta's pretty fertile, and it's got a huge recruiting base. Sort of like Texas and SMU, right? You don't have to go very far to find talent. Now, man, he's just getting the right type of guys that fit what they do.
speaking of guys, and we talked about their offense, but on defense, Barron Hobson
Yeah.
has been around you talk about guys being around the ball. He's got 35 total tackles.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, he finds the ball. You know, man, what he does, I mean, he plays behind that front. They're active, but the one thing about him, man, he's very instinctive. You know, he whether you talk about run stopping, whether you talk about pass drop instincts, whether you talk about his ability to be able to match in coverage, he's what you want linebackers to be, right? He can play the run, he can defend the one-on-one, and he can find himself, you know, getting space in deep zones and underneath zones because Mark plays a fair amount of it, and so he plays with good vision, and he's been a ball hawk for that group. Thank you. Let's go Blue.
All right, our student athletes today, Nick Badiato and Brandon Buckner, and we'll let Nick get it started.
Good morning.
Morning. Nick, kind of give us your thought after you had a chance to digest Saturday night of what was the good, the bad, and the ugly of where you think we are right now.
Yeah, honestly, same thoughts. I mean, you kind of like what we're struggling with right now, or what's kind of giving us challenges, is just like being efficient in the red zone and being efficient on third down. Like that's what I felt after the game on Saturday, and that's what I feel now, and that's what I know we have to work on, and we're gonna get better at it. I think, like I said, like when you get down in the red zone, you need touchdowns in the red zone. That's going to help you win ball games, and we can't settle for field goals. Like I said, Jacob did a great job on Saturday, but we really need to be better in the red zone with touchdown efficiency, and then also on third down. We need to help ourselves out, get into more manageable third down situations, third and short, third and medium. Can't live in third and long because you're not going to have a high success rate at it.
Looking at Kennesaw's defense, they forced one fumble and no interceptions. You know, how aggressive are you guys looking to be against a defense this weekend that's kind of struggled to force turnovers?
Yeah, I don't think that's really something that you look at when you're trying to game plan like that. Like that's a good group that we're going to face this weekend. Like Coach was just saying, they fly to the football, they communicate well. That's something you can see on film when you're as you're watching the way they communicate with each other, whether it's pre-snap or post-snap. DBs passing things off when they're in their zone coverages, or post-snap trying to get in the right alignment. Like that, like that's a good defense. They get hats to the ball, they fly around the field. They have a lot of good playmakers, and it's just gonna, you know, it's gonna give us a good challenge come Saturday. But you know, I think like the most important thing is like we're going to go through our game planning process, and we're going to put together a great game plan, and Coach Reeder's going to have it ready to roll for Saturday, and we're just going to go out there and we're going to play our game. And you know, like I talked about, you know, taking what the defense gives you. Like you're not just going to push to push or push the ball downfield to push the ball downfield. We're going to stick within our rules. We're going to use our playmakers, and we're going to do the best of our ability to put up points.
Looking at Jaquel and Ricky on Saturday, they combined for 178 total yards and nearly 14 yards a touch on the ground and through the air. How vital is it to get them the ball more often, since they are just dynamic playmakers?
Yeah, I mean, I talked about on Saturday, Jaquel's probably the best football player on the field when he's out there. The things he can do, how dynamic he is in the run, in the pass game, and then also everything he does for us in protection is very vital. And then when Ricky comes in, he's a really good back that comes in, give Jaquel a breather, and Ricky can do the same things in terms of being a viable option in the passing game through checkdowns as well. You saw that on Saturday, right? Check it down to him, makes one guy miss, and we're out the gate for an explosive play. So, you know, one of those things where it's just like, you know, our big thing for an offense is get our playmakers the ball, and whatever way we can make that happen, we're going to do it. And, you know, like I said, those two guys are really good players. So we're just going to go with the flow and keep on going.
You know, for the Owls, they have a lot of disciplined edge rushers, certain things like that. But for you, how are you going to be able to grow and just continue to build off the 28 points? But you're wanting to get more on the board, obviously, but just continuing to build off that.
Yeah, like I said, it's not about you know, when we think about scoring, like you're like, man, man, we got to take shots, we got to push the ball. Like that's not about what it is. I mean, like you saw on Saturday, like it's like we had many explosive plays that we were able to key in on, but it was also like checking the ball down and then run after the catch. Like Amarion did a great job on his touchdown catches a short, quick pass. DB jumps it and doesn't, you know, have anyone to back him up. Amarion takes it the rest of the way. Najee using his big body in the red zone. So we just gotta have to use our playmakers and what they do best. And like I said, you know, we're gonna game plan for a really good defense that we're gonna see on Saturday, and we're gonna go in with our plan, and we're gonna execute to the best of our ability. And like I said, I think if we can be better on third down and our red zone trips turn into touchdowns and less field goals, then we'll be a more efficient offense in general.
Good? Anything else, Nick? All right, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Hello.
Bucky, you know, obviously for the interior, you all have been doing great, and you're going to continue to build off that. But for you all, with this quarterback coming in with Odom, and then also some really key running backs, how are you all going to build off that just to make sure that you're shutting it down, especially in the pocket?
Yeah, just got to stick to our rules, build a wall, set an edge, track a hip, just the things that we've been preaching since day one, and just be consistent from first down to second down to third down, you know, just playing within our rules, just doing our 111th.
They've got several dynamic weapons with the running backs and receivers. Just kind of talk about the challenges that they present.
Challenges, you know, it's nothing that we haven't seen before. I mean, like what we build our defense on is physical, tough, and intelligent. You know, if everybody just do their job, rally to the ball, you know, just play gap sound, and just playing and just doing their 111th, I think we'll take care of that.
Over the last two games, Kennesaw's offense has hit 23 explosive plays. You know, and with that being kind of a struggle for this defense recently, what do you think you guys need to do a better job of to ensure they don't do that against MT?
Just being disciplined. That's all it comes down to. Just everybody just understanding their assignment, and you know, just playing smart and blue rated football.
Where do you draw the line when it comes to being aggressive? And because we've seen, I think it started with Wisconsin when they had a couple of misdirections that hit for big plays, and you go to Nevada, you know, they immediately tried to do something, you know, with a reverse or whatever. How as far as that line is, you know, knowing what you need to do, and then, you know, trying to be aggressive but also know where you're supposed to be. Talk a little bit about the challenge of that as a player.
You know, those explosive plays just comes off of discipline. Like, you know, if you see hard action away, like as an outside linebacker, you got to climb, you know, and it just comes down to just playing with good eyes, you know, just not, you know, that's not your play. So just doing your job just every day. So that's what it really comes down to.
Conference play, obviously, but what you all have played in the past 4 weeks, it's, you know, you're putting it behind you now, you're looking forward. But for you all, especially as a leader in the D-line, how are you all going to just make sure that you're really building off of those explosive plays?
Shoot, man, getting into conference play, like everything matters. I mean, we saw what we saw in the first 4 weeks, so everything that we see now shouldn't be nothing new. So we just got to go out there and handle it and just, you know, just play blue rated football.
What'd you do during the rain delay?
Sure, called my dad, just got some pointers from him, and, you know, just be stress-free and just, you know, getting ready back to play football.
Did you eat anything?
No.
No? Okay. Just
Nothing.
Just checking.
Yes, sir.
You talked about that discipline. How do you stay disciplined as a defensive front against a dual threat quarterback like you'll face this week?
It all starts in practice. You know, Nick, we got dual threat quarterbacks. We got Nick, we got Stanley, we got Roman. So we see it every day. And, you know, that just working that cohesive and that chemistry, you know, just being great in our rush lanes, just holding your gap. You know, everything starts in practice. So just being disciplined Monday through Friday, it will translate and carry over into Saturday. So.
Parker Hughes and Muaz Byard really had good games. What have you seen from the linebacker core playing behind you and communicating with you on Saturday?
Seen a lot of growth. I mean, Parker is one of those guys, same as Mu. I feel like we have depth in every room. I would say, you know, they're just playing their best ball every week, so I really thank them for that.
And kind of piggybacking off what Shane said earlier with the dual threat QBs, that's something that you guys have faced pretty prevalently early on in this season. How does that kind of prepare you for yet another go at it on Saturday?
Shoot, I mean, playing to dual threat quarterback, it is tough, but shoot, it ain't nothing that we haven't seen before. I mean, like I said, we all see it in practice with Nick, Stanley, and Roman, so everything that we see on Saturday won't be nothing new. So just go out there and execute.